Kill me! I'm here! Kill me!
Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of Loving, a biopic that I've been dying to see. It's based on a true story, and I thought the story had the potential to be extremely compelling, and when I watched the movie, I think it absolutely is. If you're not aware of what this movie is about, the reason why the movie is called Loving is because it actually focuses on a couple that has the last name Loving. The husband is played by Joel Hedgerton, and the wife is Ruth Negga, and he's white and she's black, and they get married in Virginia in, I believe, the 50s or 60s, maybe 40s, don't quote me on the decade, but the important thing is at the time interracial marriage was illegal in Virginia, and as a result they get their house gets broken into by police in the middle of the night. They get hauled off and arrested, and they get told that they cannot cohabitate. They end up going to court and told that if they don't either A, divorce, or B, and divorce and separate, or B, leave the state, that they will be put in jail for a year apiece. She's pregnant at the time, and basically they get forced to take a plea deal where they will leave the state, and in doing so their entire lives that they've been working to build, he just bought an estate to try to build a house for her, all that is just completely torn asunder, and they have to start anew in Washington, a state that allowed it at the time. And this is a big spoiler, but the reason why this story has been told, other than obviously the fact that that happened at all is crazy, but the reason why this specific couple, other than the fact that their last name is so perfect, was focused on is they actually end up getting the ACLU reaches out to them, and they are the ones that end up taking their case all the way to the Supreme Court, and that because of what they did by pushing it that far, it ends up becoming illegal in the United States to outlaw interracial marriages in any of the states of the country, basically freeing them to go back and recapture the life that they had been building for themselves. So that's the basis of the movie, but that story in and of itself is amazing, right? Like it's crazy that these people had to go through that. But I think the real strength of this movie isn't in, the story, like I said, if it wasn't for the framework of the story, this movie wouldn't work at all. But I don't think that this movie would have been nearly as good in a lot of other people's hands, because I think the real strength of this movie is that the way that they tell this story. This is not, this is what I wouldn't want to see this movie really bad, is because I was really anticipating a lot of rousing speeches and these moments that would give you goosebumps, and these opportunities to feel disgust at what these people had to go through, and you definitely feel the disgust, and you have these moments of there's moments like the hair is sticking up on my arms just even thinking about some of the scenes in the movie. But it's not all about that movie. This isn't people going off and having these big courtroom scenes by any stretch of the imagination. There's a few you do get in the courtroom a couple of times, but really what this movie is really mired in is the day-to-day lives of the couple at the center of it. Like there's throughout the entire movie, you definitely after they get arrested, there's definitely moments like it keeps building to things, right? Like they set up, okay, we're having our trial in Virginia, we're having our trial in the city that you originally got arrested in, we're going to the Supreme Court. So all these things are there, and they're always there in the background. But really what this movie is all about, almost all the scenes are focused on the couple, not the trial. So you have all these moments, like you were like they're one of the most compelling moments in the movie is there's a scene where the husband thinks that he might be getting followed and that people might be after him, and he goes home and he's trying to protect his family, and that was one of the more compelling moments. But then there's all kinds of moments. Like there's a moment where Life magazine photographer comes and takes photographs of them, and they're laying on their couch watching TV and laughing together with his head in her lap. And those are, to me, even though those other scenes might have felt more compelling and they might have been more interesting from a pure things happening kind of perspective, it was the moments, the quiet moments, that really got to me, because what they ended up doing was, instead of making it about like the big picture, they made it very myopic and very focused on what this was doing to this one specific couple, and the way that this had completely like defined their relationship and their life for this X amount of time. And it really, what it did for me was, it made, instead of putting it in the perspective of, you know, I wasn't sitting there throughout most of this movie feeling disgusted at the acts of people that were holding them back. What I was doing more often than not was feeling for them, empathizing with the situations that they were in. And don't get me wrong, obviously, like, you know, you watch there's all kinds of movies that, well, not all kinds, but there's several movies that are about kind of similar subjects, about the treatment of African American or Black people in America over the years. And a lot of those movies, you like all those movies, you are empathizing with the people that are being treated that way. But you also spend the majority of the movie not necessarily not necessarily, but you spend the majority of the movie also feeling revulsion at what you see people are doing. And in this, instead, there's a lot of there's a lot of hopefulness in this movie, and you're inspired by this couple's ability to overcome, and you also are amazed by the fact that they had to go through all these things. And that was another thing that I thought was really interesting, because this movie had a lot of, like, you know, kind of quiet moments and stuff like that. You get to kind of reflect a lot more as well. And, like, you know, I spent a lot of the movie thinking about things like, not only just the fact that it's amazing that there was a time in America where interracial marriages were not allowed, but you also start reflecting on the fact that, you know, it's only a couple years ago that homosexual marriages ended up being legalized there, and a few years back here in Canada. And, like, you think about, like, you think that we, you know, we're kind of past a lot of, like, the laws that were bad in that way. I mean, bad's not the word I'm looking for, obviously, but you know what I mean. Like those kinds of laws that were that would segregate people and that kind of thing. But you know, we're not that far past a lot of them, and I'm sure there's still lots on the books that would be equally, well, not equally, but definitely disgusting. And then there's places all over the world where I'm sure that there people still aren't able to have interracial marriages and that kind of thing. And it's just amazing to think that man could hate man in that fashion. And it's just, you know, it's a very contemplative movie. It makes you really think, and I think that's the movie's real strength. I thought this movie was exceptional. I really thought it was a great movie. I loved it. I thought it was the humanity in it, despite the fact that it was telling such a inhumane story, was really remarkable. And that's why I think this movie is definitely one of the better movies I've seen in quite a long time. And, you know, I've seen quite a number of good movies lately, but this one completely blew me away. So that's my review of Loving. Let me know in the comments below if you saw it, what you think. Let me know what you think of my review of it, like what my thoughts on it are. And please hit that like button. It does huge things for my channel. It gets my videos put in front of people that would have otherwise not seen it. And please hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. It means the world to me to be able to talk to people about my thoughts on movies and collectibles and other kinds of things. And I would love you to be one of the people that I get to have a discourse with. Other than that, have yourself a nice day.